I'm here with my wonderful staff. This is Mr. Garvin, Mr. Durbo, and Ms. Shockley. So the goal here today is to tell you about tax relief and tax freeze and other programs that we have. Additionally, we brought someone, Ms. Shockley. She can sign you up today if you would like to be signed up. The idea is to come out into the community so that everyone doesn't always have to come downtown to us. So we want to make sure that we are accessible and transparent, and so that we can be of some benefit for you today. So I will say we do hope that you qualify for the programs, but if you don't, please share it. Share the information, right? So just don't hold it close to your chest. You go ahead and share it. And so the goal is, like I said, just to make everyone aware of two programs specifically, which is tax relief and tax free. All right, Mr. Garvin? Thank you. So at our office, our goal, what we strive for, is we put people first, because we know that the city of Nashville is all about the people. And the job I have, even though it's tax collections, the section name for it is trustee. And so we want you to know we care about each of you, and that's why we're out here today. And our purpose, as we share, is to discuss the possibilities of assistance with property taxes and qualifications for the tax relief and the tax freeze program, and to teach the basics, okay? The state of Tennessee and the trustee's office is responsible for preparing the application, collecting all supporting documentation, and submit it to the state of Tennessee. However, we do not approve or disapprove. We just pull the applications together. I like to make that clear. So our office is not approving or disapproving you. We're just helping to submit the information and collect it. All right? So for tax relief and disabled, the applicant must own and use the property as a primary residence. Sometimes people have several properties, which is good, but you have to use it as your primary residence to qualify for tax relief. You must be 65 years of age or older. I must say each of you look very young, so this may not apply to you in terms of the age, and it must have occurred by December 2023. We take the combined income, the annual income of all owners listed on the deed. So it's not tied to the people that live in the house, but it's tied to the deed and the names of those persons that are on the deed of how we do the income. With the exception if you're married. So a person can be married and one person's name be on the deed, but we just still take both persons' names if they're married, just so you know. All right? Okay, so the same thing, disabled may be permanently disabled by the Social Security. If you're done by December 31st, 2023, there is no age limit. It's the same type of thing, then you would qualify. And once again, the Social Security Administration does that. And also, we love to honor our veterans and the people who have sacrificed for our country. So for a disabled veteran, all you must be is 100% disabled. There's no age tied to it. There's no income requirement. So there's no income limit, maximum, or bottom floor with that. All they need is an F-16 form, and they can get that from the Veterans Administration. So questions that we always get about tax relief is, does tax relief mean I'm exempt and do not have to pay property taxes? I know, right? It's funny. Unfortunately, we all have to pay taxes, right? Does the state have a lien on the property? The state does not have a lien on the property. I get this question a lot, and I want you to know, if you qualify for the program, you receive the monies or the benefits, that you do not have a lien on your property. You never owe the city anything back, and once it's done, okay? Can I get relief on all my properties? It's the primary property, right? And I'll ask you that as we go on. I'll begin to ask you questions to see how well I'm teaching. And what if I have a mortgage? Once your mortgage pays, we send a check refund back once we receive that. So we just send it back to you. All right. What if your spouse is deceased? You have to provide a death certificate for us, and those are easy to get. What if I were never divorced? And I think I shared with you earlier, if you're never divorced and you're separated, but your spouse's name is on the deed, the income must be included. And even if your spouse's name is not on the deed, the income is still included. Do I apply once or do I requalify? You apply once, but you requalify every year. And requalifying, we try to make it as seamless as possible. Is you'll receive a form. I don't know if you have that form with us here today. And you put your income on there. You sign your name, we ask for your phone number if we need to follow up with you, and that's what requalifying is. It's just signing your name, placing your income on there, and mailing it in. Okay? Tax freeze, applicants must own or use the property as the primary residence. It must be 65 years of age or older before December 2023. The combined income cannot exceed $47,750. Now, there's a difference between tax freeze and tax relief. Would anybody like to take a stab at it? We're interacting with one another.
Tax relief is holding it at a set level. Tax relief is getting some help there.
Okay, say it one more time. It sounded like it was a great answer. Just say it one more time for me.
The tax freeze is freezing your taxes from the time you apply and are accepted for as long as you're on it.
I like it. Okay, see, I can tell he was a straight A student in class. So yes, the freeze is, as he shared, it's frozen that for the moment that you begin to qualify. So next year in 2025, that's why we're really out here. 2025, we will have our reassessment. And so most of the time, people's property value usually goes up, which you want it to go up. We do want it to go up. We just don't want to pay the taxes associated with it. And so that's what tax freeze does. So for this year, example, if your property taxes are $2,700, that's about the average one. If it's $2,700 and you applied and you qualified, it would still remain $2,700, even if that reassessment came up and your property value was higher and it pushed it up to $3,600, it would still be $2,700, because as the gentleman shared so eloquently, it freezes it at that particular point where you applied.
Just for that period of time, and then you reapply, it could change?
No, as long as you requalify. Yes, ma'am. And requalifying is, work with me here, is doing what? What do you have to do to requalify? Yeah, well, not, well, yes.
Show more income, requalify.
Yeah, well, yeah, you just show your income, right? Sign the paper, but you don't have to give us all the paperwork like you did the first time, right? So I just want to be clear. So you'll get a form, you just fill that form out and send it back. That form is money. It's a form of money, and that's what we like to tell everybody. And the relief, of course, is monies that go towards your property taxes. Some people can qualify for the relief and the freeze, some only the freeze. Okay? All right. Y'all are.
What if your income is fluctuating?
So we.
Flipping in and out of the program.
And that's totally fine. It happens, and it's totally fine. So for the year that your income does not exceed the amount, you would qualify. For the year that it does exceed, then you would have to, come off, and then you would just come back on. That's totally fine. It happens. Great example is sometimes people may cash out a certain amount of their pension. Sometimes they may have a major sale that they do that makes them have more income. So it's totally fine. We're equipped to handle that as well.
And is that a reapplication each time you go in and out? Or is it just
So that would be a reapplication, because you would actually be rolling off of the program. And to your point, the income would have changed. So then we would need to verify it, because things would be a little bit different. Yeah.
okay. And if your income is beneath the level where you file an income tax return, so you don't have an income tax return for us?
So when you don't have an income tax return, it's a couple of different things that they ask for, which is a bank statement, and what else, Ms. Shockley? You can.
Social Security benefits, you receive, you get this document every year, W-2s, and proof of pension, so you just bring those documents.
Okay, so she said proof of pension, W-2s, and Social Security. So that happens as well. Yes, ma'am.
Probably muddying the waters and being a little gray area here, but is that just what money comes in without any consideration of what we seniors are facing as money going out, such as pharmacy bills? I have a pill, it's $1,000. So do you take expenses off that as to what our net income is?
No, ma'am. So to your point, that's a great question. Yeah, it's just, it's income. It would be nice if we.
Can we change that?
So the state has control over that. But yes, so I totally agree with you. It would be good to do that, but we only look at the income. Yes, ma'am. No, not the deductions for the medicine and all those different things.
And it's the income, like you filed on your.
So it's not. That's a great question.
The adjusted gross income, or?
Yes, sir. That is a great. So we get that all the time. So glad you asked that. And I'm gonna let Ms. Shockley explain that, because that's where it gets a little complicated. So it's not like your income that you file on your federal income tax, and the state decides how we file it and do that formula. So Ms. Shockley, you want to come over here and stand next to the mic and explain that formula, I would greatly appreciate it. That's a
Thank
great
you.
question. We have a lot of, I can tell these people were brilliant students. They good questions, great answers.
Yes, and we love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the adjusted gross income is the one that you show on your income tax return, but that doesn't include the benefits that you receive on your Social Security. So that's why we need to see those different amounts. The amount that you receive in your bank from the Social Security plus the adjusted gross income reported in your income tax return.
So it's your Social Security and your adjusted gross income. All right? So great questions, great questions. So the tax freeze, I think we want to just go back real quick so we can see, yeah, it's the land allowed is under the tax freeze is 5 acres, and you will need to requalify every year, but not reapply. And we talked about the difference between requalifying and reapplying. And I'm going to ask questions at the end. All right. Does tax freeze mean that I'm exempt? No. It only means that you pay for the portion that is frozen. Does this mean the value of my home will not increase? Absolutely not. We want the value of your home to increase. It just means that you pay on the amount that's frozen. All right. Can I freeze all of my properties? No. You can only freeze, what did we say? Your primary. Great. Okay. And what if I'm already on relief? So if you're on relief, the office and the staff, they're so wonderful, they will automatically just put you on freeze. So you don't have to wonder. So if you qualify for relief, you don't have to say, well, I wonder, did they sign me up for freeze? We usually do both. All right? When and how to apply. So the deadline is coming up. That's why we're out here today. April the 5th, 2024 is the deadline for now. Your property taxes must be caught up. And then after March the 1st, there is interest. I always like to share that because persons do come into the office and they ask me if I can waive their interest. And I tell them I would love to, but I don't want to go to prison, and that's illegal. I have no authority to do that. So I'm not able to waive interest. So we still have time now. That's why we're excited to be here today. We have until April the 5th. Yeah. Can I apply for tax freeze on all of my properties? I think we discussed this. And so I think this concludes our presentation. But we also like to share, so what we do like to share is sometimes if persons fall behind on their property taxes, is that you can get monies from the Metro Action Commission. You have to be 62 years of age for that. They apply $500 towards that. And we have their number here, which is 615-862-8860. In addition to that, I love to share that the Housing Fund, the Housing Fund is also a partner, and they're in that brochure that we've shared with you. And the Housing Fund received money from Amazon. And the thing I like about Amazon's money that they share with the Housing Fund is that it's not age restricted, and the income threshold is a little bit higher. So we also encourage people to apply for the funds that are provided through Amazon. And Amazon gave those funds because they recognized when they moved into the city and they brought their headquarters to the city that they were bringing a lot of pressure onto our city because they were bringing so many new people in that had like just exorbitant. I think we've all experienced it. So it's a really good program. So we encourage people to do that. And you can apply for the Housing Fund, and you can also apply for the program that we have at our office. And you can do it because one is a government funded and the other one is a nonprofit. So it doesn't prevent one from being on the other.
Is the Amazon fund put into the Barnes Housing Fund, or is that just property taxes that go into the
You know, I think the Amazon does. I don't want to misspeak to that, but I know definitely the money that Amazon gave, they gave to the Housing Fund.
Separate apart from the Barnes?
Yeah, this is separate from, yes, and this is specifically for property taxes. And they gave over $2 million, and they want to see all of it gone. And when they first started, it was like 7 zip codes, but now it's throughout the whole entire city. And they send the payment to our office, and they pay like a third of it. And so it actually is tied to the increase. So it's the difference between 2020 and what is going on now after that, because we had a little bit of a price, a rate increase on our property taxes. So they pay the difference between those two. All right? We do not have homestead here. We have tax relief. You see homestead more in places like Florida, and that's just like where you don't pay the property taxes and it's tied to the land. So we like to let people know that we are in the future. You can pay online. You can pay with a check for $1. We also have a drop box for you, and then you can also use a card, which we discourage that because there's a transaction fee of 2.55%. We don't get it. It's just a pass-through that's tied to the credit card company. All right. I think this pretty much concludes it. Property tax notices usually go out in October. That's when our season begins, and then it ends always the last day of February. Okay. And then we have a calculator if you want to see how we calculate it, especially if you're anticipating an increase, or you can go online and put all your information in and it will calculate your taxes for you. We'd like people to know that. The changing of the address is really important because sometimes people move and they'll say that they didn't get their property tax statement, and we like to let them know that's done at the assessor's office. It's not something that we can go and change ourselves, but we will take it to the assessor's office for you, but that's something that happens over there. All right, I think this is getting us to the end. We have a wrap up here. So, okay, I got some rapid fire questions for you. Okay, so we went through it a little bit. We talked about tax freeze, and the gentleman gave a wonderful definition for that. Would anybody like to share what the definition is for tax relief?
That's if you qualify, it will help you pay the taxes that you owe.
Yes, very good, very good.
But your mortgage company pays first, and that money's refunded by you back to us.
Oh my gosh, I love you. I love each one of you. You're just so brilliant. I appreciate it. Yes, you said it eloquently. I think you clearly understand. A wonderful job there. So this concludes my portion. We have Dr. Harper with us today. He's from Social Services, and he just wants to talk about, he has some really great information about those that are older adults and what's going on in the city of Nashville. Do you have any questions for me? Okay, if you want to sign up today, we have Ms. Shockley with us.
I do have a question.
Yes,
You said
ma'am.
next year there's going to become an assessment.
Yes.
And your office does the assessment, or Ms. Little?
Ms. Wilhortz, that's correct. We do not, I like to say, I'm not responsible for what you pay. I just collect it. Yes, yes. And so I'm glad you mentioned that. So it's one more thing that, and Ms. Brown, I'm so glad that you asked that question, because we want everybody to know in July the 24th of this year, the new amount for tax freeze will increase to $60,000. That's July the 24th. It's $60,000, but you must be the age 65 years or older. And so we were able to get that passed. Our representative was able to get that done at the state, because those changes happen at the state, and we're really excited about that. But that happens July the 24th, and that begins for the new cycle of the tax year 2024. Right, that is correct. So I'm glad you asked me that question, because it jogged my memory for one more. But right now it's $47,750, and it's by April the 5th.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.